So you raised 4 million recently. I had one observation about, I kind of looked at the investors and I had an observation that I don't know if it's valid or not. And it's that a lot of them were sort of, at least in terms of the language they use to describe their investment thesis, they tend to favor like impact driven businesses or businesses that are solving a social need. So here, I have a few thoughts about that, and I talked to a lot of companies that would qualify as sort of impact-driven companies that have raised decent rounds of capital. Is that story important to raising money?
And I think the short answer is yes. So we also, we also come out of, so the first race we did was also out of impact. We joined an impact accelerator as well after our seed round. And I think to us, so one thing is the story that you communicate, but another thing is actually also the self-belief that you the kind of company that you build and the kind of talent that you attract. And I think it's been a part of our core DNA since day one, that the entire empowerment of the entrepreneur is so strong that it's not something that's ever gonna make us diverse from the focus that we have. But then back to your question, I think you see especially in sub-Saharan Africa that it's almost impossible these days to raise early stage money without having a powerful impact story. So you need to solve some kind of SDG or there are very few, there's very little high risk capital available if you don't have some kind of impact around your core business. But then, when post seed round and before Series A, you'll see a pretty massive vacuum.
And then it's like, what's the scale story?
Exactly, because then, sorry guys to those listening out there if you are VCs, but the impact story still has to be there, but it's a pure numbers game. So you're not gonna raise a dime if you can't show scale and if you can't show a unit.
Seed, exactly. That's more impact driven, and I mean that makes perfect sense. As you get into the A, B, C, D rounds, then it's like, what's the path to $1 billion plus revenue?
That's it, and of course it makes sense.